We'll go ahead and get started. And thank you for joining us today on our AMA slash. We're announcing some pretty big updates to the game. I'll be covering the first half of today, and Andy will be covering the second half. And once I'll be showing a couple of images about halfway through. So halfway through, just jump on and connect some. I'll be sharing my screen, so just jump onto that. Yeah, today we're going to cover the current status of the beta, the daily spins that we implemented last week, the launch schedule, and Cryptopian Warzone, what's been going on behind the scenes with that. And then finally, we'll reveal the big updates that we've been alluding to garner a bit more random attention for you guys to jump in today. Oh, and of course, at the end, we'll do the free spin for the NFT Commander for you guys. So good luck to everyone in advance. Yeah, so I'll get straight into it so we don't stick around for too long. The free spins. So at the moment, there was a slight issue with the free spins that is fixed for all intents and purposes. Touch wood. So many of you guys who have premium buildings have been able to access those free spins. At the moment, they don't count towards resources. They're just purely for testing. The reason we're doing that is we want to make sure that everyone has access from day one. At the same time. So if people are missing buildings that don't load properly or they can't connect, we don't want to disadvantage anyone. And remember, the good thing about the spins is that these resources that you do collect will give you like a massive head start compared to other people when the game launches, because you'll have the resources to upgrade to at least tier one. And if you guys are really lucky, you might be able to get enough resources to upgrade something straight from tier one to tier two to tier three. Mind you, you'll have to get the relics, which are the special items for each building. But yeah, so do remember that once that is officially started, that you jump on once a day and spin. For those who have tested it, you'll notice that there's only a spin one, like just a normal spin button. For those who have a lot of buildings, that would get very painful. And so today we're implementing like a spin times 5 and times 10 function. The idea is not for you guys to have to sit there for 20 minutes clicking the spin button. So those don't stress. For those who do have a lot of buildings, those will be available today. And we have had a request from a couple of people who own stakeholder buildings to have them appear so you guys can see to make sure they're all connected. And what's going to happen is, so at the moment, when the premium buildings, when you finish spinning, it'll show you a list of your buildings and say come back tomorrow. We're going to include the stakeholder buildings into that screen there. So for anyone who has stakeholder buildings, you'll be able to see those. Although it's important to remember that stakeholder buildings don't count towards free spins, and the reason for that is that they're the passive income buildings, so they're not designed for playing at all. So that's the premium buildings, the ones you play with, that are the things that give you the free spins. And yeah, and so that's basically where we're at with the free spins. We're thinking in 36 hours, that will be when the official spins start. We're doing one more test today, and we'll give everyone 24 hours to double check their buildings, make sure they can connect. And this is the time that if you have connectivity issues, to let us know, and we'll help you out. Also, that although Trust Wallet will be available, for login at launch, it isn't at the moment. Sorry, Tibo. But what we're going to do with that is, if you can make any MetaMask wallet and give us that address, we can convert your username to that MetaMask wallet and then switch it back closer towards launch, so you can get your spins and not be disadvantaged. At this stage, that's the only other wallet we can guarantee that will be available on launch. However, we are going to look into a couple of others, and we will give people a chance to adjust which wallet they use to log in, at certain times before launch. Just to note, though, that once we have launched, we cannot change the wallet. The wallets that you deposit into are the ones you have to withdraw to. This is, anti money laundering purposes and all the rest of that jazz, where people, switch wallets using a third party server to kind of mask things. So just keep that in mind, that on launch you have to keep that wallet. And yeah, that's free spins. The beta itself is going awesome. Ethan is kicking butt. Brandon, do you want to jump in actually for a sec to put you on the spot? Have you been up to date? What's the latest stuff that's been finalized? good point to add as well, guys. So even though at the moment when you do the free spins, you get like a token 1 resource per spin. Bearing in mind that we're still doing the economy, making sure it's all stable and whatnot. So those might multiply out depending on how we end up tweaking it. But you will find that if it does, it's all proportionate. So when you see the number 1 at the moment, it's just to indicate that you won that spin. However, those numbers may change. And I guess, yeah, so we've plugged in everything that we needed to get plugged in, that Brandon just described. We've been doing some testing in the background. We've got PVM next to finally plug in, and then we'll get the focus on the good things, the mobile phone, all the little connectivity things to get everything up and going. So it's looking really good. Really excited. Yeah, and we do encourage people to log in and click things and test things out. The more information that Ethan has to look at, because everything everyone does, it's it's recorded, it's logged, and the server stress, that type of thing. So just jump in when you can. Oh, on that note, yeah. So at the moment the beta is down while the spinning wheel's up, just while we're testing it. What we will be doing by the weekend will be that on the main website there'll be play beta as one button for the beta and spins, daily spins for the other. So we are going to separate those just to make it easier for people to access. They won't have to load the whole game every time we change or make updates to the beta. So that spinning wheel will be standalone then, which will be good. On that note, yes, we'll go to the launch schedule. So we've obviously had to adjust it a little bit as things get in the way, and designing a game isn't as smooth as one would think. So having a look at the launch schedule, and this will be the final launch schedule. So we're going to be launching the full game with everything on December 12th, with the live token pre-sale occurring on November 30th. This is 100% Lock It In Eddie, Vein Hail or Shine. We've been dragging a little bit to get, we want to get that momentum really, really going before launch. So obviously for stakeholder buildings, that's better for you guys. We don't want to rush these types of things. So we're very confident with that. And between now and launch, Andy will be visiting Australia to be jumping on for a couple of weeks. We're going to really just start ironing out some of the nuts and bolts, which is going to be really exciting to meet him. And yes, we've got November 30th will be the public pre-sale for the tokens. We may or may not offer something internally before then. Probably not, but I'm not sure. We'll let you know on that one. But yeah, December 12th will be the full official release. 100% Lock It In. And on that note, I will get Andy. I'll give the mic to Andy, who's going to talk about the first update, the Cryptopian Warzone, so we can keep that hype going. And then he can talk about the major change we have made to the game itself.
Yeah, just obviously follow on from what Mitch said as well. Although the date is 12th of December, we have strategically planned that in line with the current what we call economy. We obviously don't know for definite, but would expect a bullish period in the markets leading up to Christmas. So we think that timing will fall in nicely with obviously people coming in, launch of the token, kind of that whole buzz just before Christmas. So there's two plays there, which obviously makes it a lot more better. So yeah, so carrying on from what Mitch said, going on to the other side of our game, which is the Cryptopian Warzone. So this is the NFT collection, which many have seen. So it's a collection of 10,000 commanders. We've got 5,000 good guys, which is the righteous, 5,000 bad guys, which is the fallen, and then we've got a collection of 4,000 weapons. So the weapons will be universal. They can be used for both sides. And then obviously the commanders are self-explanatory, good versus bad. So that's quite a simple thing. You've seen some of the artwork. It's still in progression now. We are very close. The Fallen is most realistically going to be finished within the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And then the Commanders, we're looking at 2 to 3 weeks. So roughly within 3 weeks, we should have all the artwork done. And then obviously these will be loaded into the pre-reveal for when people mint. So that's the aim of that one. So the actual NFTs themselves, they're not just used for the game. They will be used as a passive income as well, similar to like what the stakeholder buildings are. And the more NFTs you own, the more of the slice of the pie you get. So NFTs for the commanders, you'll get access to the B&B divs from the secondary marketplace. So there's a tax for every time someone sells. So if you own one commander, for example, you will get 1 share of those divs. If you own 10, you get 10 shares. So very similar scenario to the stakeholders, just on the NFT side. So if you don't hold stakeholder buildings, but you do the NFTs, it's a little extra. The same applies for the BUSD when we come to do the battle passes, which will be in the following season. The dividends that come from the BUSD, there'll be a portion of that will be shared between the commanders as well. So as well as using them for the game, you've got that extra incentive for that money coming in. So the actual NFT use case, they will be used initially for PVM, obviously for attacking the monsters, world bosses. They're going to give a slight boost to every time you go to attack, which obviously will give you an advantage when it comes to try and obviously defeat the monster. It won't be a massive advantage, but it will give you a bonus. So obviously it's definitely worth having one of those as an extra. And then when it comes to the PvP, that's where they'll play a lot bigger role. So they'll be designed to be linked up with your troops from your buildings. And obviously on that sort of 1 versus 1, team against team, the NFTs will create a boost. There'll be different statistics and spells that can be used. And that's where the strategy play comes in. So it won't just be, oh, I've got the best NFT so I can win every time. That's not going to happen. We'll create a balance that will strategically mean that if you're good at the game and you understand how the combat side of it works, you'll have an advantage over somebody else who doesn't and just thinks they can have the best NFT. So the other thing to note as well is, just not on rarity, there will be aspects of it that will require different levels. So, for example, you've got archers versus cavaliers, and they'll have different sort of strengths to compete against each other. So that's a summary of those NFTs. A little add-on as well is we will have a staking function. This will not be available from day one of launch, but it will be planned to be sort of in the following weeks after we've launched, and that means you can drop your NFTs into a staking pool. They're going to give you access to some additional rewards that can only be obtained if you hold the NFTs. So we've got a provision that we're sort of saying 12 is a maximum that you can put into a pool. You earn so many tokens and you'll get access to special NFTs, skins, a bit like Fortnite kind of thing. You have that kind of thing, but there'll be some of them will be cosmetic. Some of them may have an advantage to the game. But if you don't want to keep them, for example, or you've got too many, they will be sellable on the marketplace. So another nice little asset for you owning those NFTs. So that's the Cryptopian Warzone as a summary.
Jump in real quick, Andy. One more thing just to add. Sorry, guys. So on the white paper at the moment, we have got some of the righteous spells, some of the troop stats, those types of things up at the moment. That's an ongoing process to do the Fallen next. But if you guys are interested to learn about some of the mechanisms, like the mechanics and things, that type of thing, those are available in the white paper as well.
Yeah, sweet. I'm sure people will be hunting on there now. So coming on to, and just on the spells, obviously the spells will be different. If you've got a fallen character, you will get access to 3 types of spells, and if you've got the righteous, you'll get a different 3 spells. So it's not universal. So it's definitely advisable to kind of have a balance, because when it comes to the gameplay, that's where it comes to the strategic side, working out who's best to use. And then on to the final one, which is obviously the biggest update, which is the stakeholder buildings. So myself and Mitch and the team, we've sat around the table and we've kind of looked at where we are in terms of the stage of the game. We're getting very close to launch now, so we've got to make some strategic decisions on kind of what next to play. And the first one that we've decided to tackle is the stakeholder buildings. So at this present moment in time, we have 501 buildings, and they are shared across 1,425 shares. For example, a bank is $2,500, and it goes down right to a trading post, which is 500. So what we're doing now is we are splitting the cost into half. So we're going to be having trading posts that are $250. The bazaars will be the next price, and the banks will be $1,250. Okay. Now the reason we're doing this is for a couple of reasons. First one is, we've had a number of requests from investors and the community, obviously behind direct messages, saying that unfortunately some people can't gain access to the stakeholder buildings because they're just out of reach in terms of expense. and they've obviously wanted to get in. It's something we never looked at before, but obviously we took that on board. And the other one is that we need to start looking at closing out the stakeholder buildings, because our main focus now leading up to launch is we have to tackle the premium buildings which are designed to use for the game. So you'll see across the community, we've hit hard the stakeholder buildings. And although we've discussed the premium buildings for the games, we've not focused enough energy and time, obviously trying to explain to people about the actual game, how it works, how having X amount of troops obviously will be beneficial for you playing it on a daily basis. So with the rejig, anybody that has purchased a bank, for example, you will now be getting double the supply of what you had. So a bank, for example, gave you 7 shares. If you want to pop your screen up now, Mitch, this would probably be the ideal time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to now. Why is this not? Give me 2 seconds. There's always just never. It's never easy, is it? While I do this, just no one needs to there's no disadvantage to anyone who's currently holding it. That's just one thing to point out, by the way, Andy, while I set this up.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to go on to. But basically, the image that Mitch is going to bring up,
there you go.
You will still have the same share in terms. Well, you'll actually be better off because you'll end up having twice the shares of the pool for the same value of what you've spent. So it actually means your ROI will be quicker than what it was previously. It doesn't affect the balance of the overall ecosystem for what we're planning to do with adding funds to LP and delivery of launch. It just means that we obviously deal with the stakeholder buildings. They're out the door, and we can move on to the premium buildings. So have you got the image up, Mitch?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So you will see, is that the one that's the watch stream?
Yes.
Okay, let me just go on to there. Okay, so yeah, the image that Mitch has got up on the screen, if you look at before, we'll start with the top with the bank, which is 7 shares. What's going to happen now is you have got the same value, but that's going to be distributed into 1 bank, 2 bazaars, and a trading post. So you now own 14 shares of the 1,425. If we go down to the bazaar, it means you'll get 2 for the price of 1, and the same for the trading post. Now, the beneficial, let me just come out of, I don't want to stop watching. How do I come out of there? Okay, that's it, I'm out. Yeah, so the benefit of that to the actual stakeholders is you're now going to have, for a bank holder, you're going to have 4 buildings. So when you look on the map, if you look at the beta test, you will see all the buildings that you don't own are under construction. With this method at the top, you will now have all 3 buildings that will be showing. The same for not the same for the bazaar, but you will have extra buildings. So if in the future you decided you wanted to sell one and keep one within the game, you've now got the facility to do both. Now, for new people that are coming in, this will now give them access to spend less and get themselves, for example, a trading post now is only going to be $250. So these smaller investors now get access to these buildings. We do only have a limited amount of stakeholder buildings left now. I can't remember how many it is off the top of my head, Mitch. Unless you know it, we can feed that out afterwards. But we'll
feed it out afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, we do plan to close the stakeholder buildings within the next 14 days. So we don't expect any stakeholder buildings to be left after 14 days. So what I would recommend is, if you do want to get an entry to a trading post, for example, for the $250, we will be updating the website after, obviously, this AMA, and they will be available, obviously, to purchase for the reduced price. So just to clarify, the new people will be buying the buildings at half the price, but the current holders will be getting twice the amount of what they owned originally. And as discussed, in effect, it's the same amount of shares, but halved. So you as the stakeholder currently are getting double the amount.
So basically for that, like, for example, before this, a bank would be about 0.5% of the entire, share pool. And after this, a bank is equivalent to, when it comes to the extra buildings, 1%. So everything's doubled. And yeah, as Andy was saying, the reason we wanted to tackle this is because one of the things we found is that, explaining the stakeholder buildings versus the premium buildings are 2 very different target groups and different explanations, and it's time to start focusing on the game and getting the getting gamers excited, that type of thing. So we figure this is a way that everyone. It's also a little way to say thank you to the people who have been around for a while, because it does. There's now less. You've got more of the pie now type thing. So yeah, it's something we decided to do, and it might be a little bit confusing for some that aren't in the AMA, but we're going to make sure we put a lot of information up about that. So, and I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I think the point to prove here as well is that there was a reason why the stakeholder buildings were created. The stakeholder buildings were actually created for a source of income to allow us to build the game for the gamers. So basically, the stakeholder revenue has allowed us to develop to where we've got now with the beta, the map, and everything you've seen. So the overall cost, what it's cost us to get to where we are, has actually been less than we anticipated. So that also falls in line with us obviously making this decision on the stakeholder buildings. So majority of the stakeholder owners, they don't necessarily get time to play the game, but what they have done is they've given the facility for gamers to be able to have something on launch. So we don't feel the stakeholder buildings are as important as what they were, say, 2 or 3 months ago, because at the stage we're at now. And that's obviously another part of the reason why we got to this stage where we are now. So that it's all about the premium buildings now. It's about pushing those, and it's about now bringing the gamers to the market, obviously getting ready for launch. How's that spinning wheel going, Mitch?
Just finishing that now. That's exactly what I'm doing right now, to be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, what we can do while Mitch is just finishing that off, is there any questions that the community have got? Is there anything that you're curious about? Do you understand the stakeholder builds? If you don't, obviously fire the questions, and then obviously we can move on to the spinning wheel afterwards.
Someone posed a question. They're asking, do the commanders stack like more boost against monsters?
No, you for that one you'll select the commander that's going to be used for PVM, but they will be used in terms of staking them for those unique rewards. They'll be up to 12. You stake up to 12, so the 12 best ones will contribute towards those staking points. And yeah, Oz, if you can read any of the questions that come through the text chat, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Just to clarify that on as well, Mitch, not trying to leak too much early on, but just bear in mind, guys, that all the NFTs will have a set statistics built into them. So they are not all going to be the same. So the easiest way I can explain that, if you imagine an NFT's got attack, defense, and shield, just whatever they are, one might have 77 out of 99 for one, 66 out. So each NFT is going to have a different play in terms of statistics. So if you've got 5 NFTs that you own, you may find NFT number 1 will be better against NFT number 5, for example. So it's not going to be a straightforward thing of a set NFT will do all roles. So just bear that in mind, that it will be handy to have a number of them, but you will only be able to use one at a time.
I've finished the spinning wheel now, but we'll just see if there's any other questions at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyone who is DMing, I can't actually view the DMs at the moment, so if you could either chime up or use the Game Talk channel. I don't know if I just can't click them at the moment with everything else I'm doing. Does anyone have any other questions?
There's one more question. Can you stake the NFT and then use it for PvP, PVM at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a yes if we both say at the same time.
Yeah. No, definitely. It wouldn't work if you had it staked and you had to take it out of the pool. And all the staking will just be a recognition of talking to the blockchain. In terms of the game, that can all be back end.
Yeah, and also so the people every season, people who achieve the staking goals the quickest will get unique versions of the NFTs we have on offer. So the first person who makes it might get a gold one, and silver, bronze, and some some more elusive ones for the top 10, 15, those types of things. And so, but yeah, absolutely, you can use your NFT. It just wouldn't work otherwise because your prized commander would also probably be one that influences the staking the most, and it's you can either use it to kick some butt or you can stake it. So yeah, 100% you can do both.
Excellent. One more question. Sorry, they're asking if we can elaborate a little bit more about staking. What are the perks, the benefits of staking?
You can take that one, Andy.
Are we talking about the token or the NFTs themselves?
Looks like NFTs.
Yeah. Okay. So for me personally, staking, anything when you do staking that's related to, say, the native token or money, you tend to find that people just dump it or sell it because it's technically free. So our staking system with the NFTs is designed for the game system itself. So by staking the NFTs, you're going to get access to things that are going to enable you to enhance whatever you've got for the game itself. So all the staking will relate to that and not more so as a money generator, if that makes sense. But the rewards that you do earn will be sellable on the marketplace. So if you've got, I don't know, say for example, 5 special skins, and the next staking round you go and get another one and you don't need it, you would be welcome to sell that on the marketplace for someone who hasn't got those skins or rewards, obviously for you to make that revenue.
And yeah, the idea with all these things we're doing as well is that they're the rewards are independent of the token economy, that type of thing as well. So we're aiming what we're doing is we're aiming to make sure that these all these perks and features don't they're intrinsic, so as the game gets more popular and games like Fortnite, etc., where they have rare skins where people enjoy flexing with them and that type of thing, that's kind of the aim with this, is to get some really cool stuff going out, but it doesn't affect the the token price or anything like that. So that's kind of the goal there. So I've done my absolute best with this wheel, but with people jumping in and leaving and stuff, I'll get everyone to check beforehand to make sure that their names are there. And obviously, so what we've paid staff who are paid and not eligible, obviously, but we've got a couple of the names you will see there. They're volunteers. So for example, Oz. So your name will be there too, Oz. You're eligible for that. So if everyone just have a quick look, I'll share the screen now. Let me just. Give me 1 second.
So while Mitch is loading that, just coming off on what Mitch was saying as well, CryptoVillage's main overall aim and goal is to create entertainment. So we don't, although the token is obviously needed for the balance of the ecosystem, everything we do in design is driven for entertainment. So there's always a number of different things that the person needs to spend in order to sort of overall complete play the game. So it's not just about owning an NFT or having a building. You've got to have a combination to sort of be able to achieve everything, if that makes sense.
I've also got the wheel up now, guys. So can everyone have a look? And if you're not there, can you please message in Game Talk? And Oz, can you let me know? But I think everyone's there.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Cool.
Well, I've got a feeling it's going to land on Jonah's name. I've just got a feeling.
Well, if Josie was here, it always seems to be Josie that wins. So Josie's not here for once. So
Alan.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Oh no! I'll tell you what. My 2 guesses are Jonah or Ashley. They're the 2 it's going to land on. I got a feeling.
Yeah, I'll pick everyone that isn't those 2 then. Here we go. So I've never used this before, so you guys can see it okay though? Let's go.
Let's go.
That's cool. I'll get a better one of these once we set up upstairs for... And the winner is... Hey! Space Cat!
Way.
Either I don't know if his mic's on. Space... Oh, he's probably muted because he's more of a quiet type, but cool. Space Cat, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm there. I don't use Discord too much, so I'm really having trouble with it.
That's okay. Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. What I'll do is I'll send you a DM after this, and I'll get that minted for you.
Sure, great, thanks.
Congratulations. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, that's cool. So that was we're going to start hosting AMAs more regularly now that things are coming, getting closer to launch, so we can keep you guys updated So yeah, if there's things you liked about it, didn't like about it, not winning the NFT is not something you can say you didn't like about it. This is luck. That's not my fault. Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to like see more, let us know how the time zones are for you guys. We can start mixing things up like that. This will be going on YouTube anyway, so yeah. I guess Andy, do you have anything else you wanted to throw into the fray?
No. Is there any more questions on the game chat, game talk channel? No, have we answered them all?
There's a question here. Will the marketing be geared more towards gamers or crypto enthusiasts?
Gamers.
Yeah. Okay. Jimmy Cash. Correct.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
It's
so-
Well, you go, Andy.
Yeah, so the stakeholder buildings has actually been a mixture of both. Obviously, because the DeFi space, you get those invested in passive, but the actual game, Mitch is right. Our main focus is actually trying to get the gamers off the street from actually outside crypto, because the problem is in crypto, the money is sort of goes around in circles. By bringing gamers off the street, we actually bring new people to the space, and they get to come in a safe, fun project from the off, and that's where the on-ramping and things like that are going to enable us to get them in. So that's where the marketing will be pushed.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah, so when we in terms of promotion, that type of thing, we're going to be focused on speaking to streamers of Clash of Clans, that type of thing, so we can get those because yeah, it's hard to crypto is one of those things. It's hard to get people interested in it, but once they are, as you guys all know, it's awesome. So it's about accommodating for those hurdles as we go along as well. So, but absolutely, yeah, this is it's a crypto game first and foremost. But the beauty of the stakeholder buildings is that everyone could join, even if you don't ever want to play the game. So, although we do encourage people to play the game because it is fun. Yeah, and yeah. So, does anyone have any last questions? Or there's nothing else in the game talk, is there?
It looks like D King kind of answered, but the one question was, will the game be launched on mobile, both iOS and Android?
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and that's another super important feature is that mobile phone is such an important, hugely important feature to make this game successful. So yeah, 100%. And the beauty of it is we are designing it as we're going along. It's much easier to do it that way. So Ethan's doing the while the PC version is the one that people can access now. He's designing all in unison, so we can submit those for review to get put on the App Store, that type of thing. So yeah.
Yeah, just more on that one as well, Mitch. The bit that I like the most is the fact that you'll be able to play the game off the blockchain. So you'll be able to do it off an app on your phone, and you won't need to talk to the actual MetaMask wallet. It will be a separate login. So for me, that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. On that note, then we will wrap it up. If anyone has any questions moving forward they think of later, feel free to message either myself or Andy. We're always around when we're not sleeping, but we don't sleep very much anyway. So, or you can use the Game Talk chat, and someone can answer the question there. And yeah, thanks. This has been an awesome turnout. So we'll start doing these more regularly and probably weekly, I imagine. So we'll see everyone next time.
Peace out.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, take care.
Cheers.